welcome in our co-hosts on the day, the Hall of Famer, Matt Miller. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning.
And he is the tallest co-host we've ever had at 6 feet 7 inches tall, Mr. Jonathan Bodwell, Johnny the Bod.
Good morning, Rob. It's actually decent out today. I'm sure it'll get really humid and then will rain, but, you know.
Yeah, give it time.
Yeah, I didn't realize we'd moved to Florida.
Like this every day, with about a month and a half to go. And then you'll be complaining that it's too cold. You can't make people happy.
Hey, you'll never hear me complain about it being too cold.
You like cold weather?
I like cold weather. I hate the heat.
Really?
Yeah.
Even as you get older, you don't mind the cold weather on the aching joints?
I don't breathe as well in the heat. I like the cold.
Were you an asthma child?
I was an asthma child.
Inhaler and all that?
Oh, yeah, I still have an inhaler. I don't use it very often, but, I keep it.
This is 2025, so in 2003, my mother passed away. In the funeral home, parlor next room over, was a young lady in her teens who died of an asthma attack.
Oh, geez.
She was an athlete, didn't have her inhaler with her. And that's how serious that stuff is. You got to have your inhaler with you when you have asthma. And as a coach of youth sports back then, I used that on parents who oftentimes would drop a kid off without their inhaler. And they'd say, "Oh, just go back home and get it. He'll be fine." I'm like, "No, he won't. He can practice when you bring the inhaler back." And then they have a bit of a fit. And then I was telling them the story about my mother's funeral and the young lady beside in the next room over. And then they would be quiet and go home and get the inhaler.
Okay, go home and get the inhaler, yes. It's just important. I mean, I use it maybe 2-3 times a year, thankfully, because mine isn't that bad. But it feels good to have it.
Yeah, you got to have it.
Yeah.
Our guests in this program are from the Jefferson County Commission. He is the president of it, Pasha Majdi. Pasha, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you. Cara, member of the commission.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you, too.
I was also an asthma kid.
Nice.
Still have it sometimes.
My youngest son was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that albuterol inhaler everywhere that we went.
Yeah, I have one on my desk. I have one in my office. I mean, I don't use it, but it's there. It makes me feel better knowing that it's there in case I need it.
Well, it's life or death, man. Mm-hmm. Literally.
Could be.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about some Jefferson County Commission business here as we get midway through the summer. So I was out last week, and I was missing some of the local news, but Bill Stubblefield is not here this morning, caught me up on it, and he said that there was something going on with the Planning Commission, the Economic Development
a couple things.
Director, and he's made sure to ask me to ask you folks about that. So
sure,
clue me up here.
Yeah, so 2 things happened last week. So one was on the Planning Commission, we enacted a policy change limiting a per agenda item for public comment to 90 minutes. Sounds reasonable. We have up to 4 or 5 concept plans or public items per meeting. So each individual could be an hour and a half per item. So it's just a way to have meetings not go past midnight, which has been a somewhat regular occurrence for our volunteers and our planning commissioners. So I'm the liaison on the planning commission, and then there's 8 volunteers. So some of the volunteers brought this forward, and it was unanimous between the volunteers. So I'm backing my planning commissioners on this one.
So it's an hour and a half total public comment.
No, per agenda item.
Per agenda item.
Yes.
Good
That's
distinction.
crazy that volunteers don't want to be there past midnight.
I know.
Some people.
I think an hour. How do you also limit how long each public comment can be? I mean, how long do you give each person?
Each person gets 3 minutes, and one of the policies that was already in place, but we talked about at the meeting when we changed this policy for just the planning commission, is that you could have one person standing and talking, and you could have a group of folks stand in solidarity. So if they're saying a similar comment to what you would say, it's a way to be more efficient with time. And of course, you can always send your public comment via email to our planning department, and they could include it in the agenda packet. So your voice is still heard. It's just being more efficient with our time.
Was there a cap on it before?
An hour and a half, no. It was a no cap, so not to sound like a Gen Z right now. We had a meeting at the bottling about the bottling plant. Of course, you probably know about that, and it went until 3 a.m. and it was, I think, over 7 hours of public comment, which is wonderful in the sense that everyone had their voice heard. Over 126 folks had their voice heard.
And I missed it.
Yeah, a lot of folks didn't last to the end, but all 9 planning commissioners were there in those uncomfortable chairs until 3 a.m. And I have to give it to my planning commissioners. We have had a lot of meetings over the past year, and typically it's been 1 meeting a month, but it's been typically now 2 meetings a month, and lasting until at least 10, definitely a few after midnight, and some very close to midnight.
What time do they begin, Cara?
Typically 7 p.m.
Wow.
So that's a full day if it's going to
is.
3 a.m.
Did the bottling thing, I mean, when it lasts till 3 a.m., did it change anybody's opinion? Did it alter history, or did things just move on the way they had planned to move on?
So they are. I can't talk about it publicly, but
like Fight Club.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Well, there's a lawsuit still.
There's a lawsuit. But
Hearings today, actually.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's starting in an hour.
Which judge?
I don't know.
Cohee.
Oh, Bridget Cohee. Okay.
So I think it's. I believe it's a scheduling hearing. I don't think they're hearing the case today, but.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, but yes. So we did deny the concept plan, and it is being brought. Forward.
One of the things I found really interesting about that meeting, I don't sit on the planning commission. I don't have a dog in this fight or a strong opinion or anything, but towards the end of that meeting is when when a planning commission would actually engage in a back and forth with the property owner. So if you're doing that at 2 a.m. and you're trying to wrap up by 3, it's very different from doing it at 8 or 9. And there's also a public benefit to being able to witness the back and forth and the actual business of the planning commission.
And nobody at 2 a.m. is really able to.
90% of people have left by that point.
Sure.
So, there's pros and cons. I'm not advocating anything for the planning commission, but just, as a hypothetical, as an intellectual exercise, you could break it up and have a public hearing where everybody gets to come and comment on the topic, and then you conduct business at a reasonable hour.
Is it possible when you get a room filled with people like that and an issue like this, which is certainly very emotional, people are concerned about their drinking water. It's turned out probably record numbers for you folks in public comments. Is it possible to look at that audience early on and say, we're going to have to do this over 2 nights rather than stay until 3 a.m.? Because, I mean, think about it. Midnight to 3 a.m., everybody, when you were younger, your parents always told you nothing good happens after midnight. Get back in the house, right?
I'm not going to say what the planning commission should do, but I can tell you at the county commission, I think we ought to be having a lot more public hearings on a whole range of topics and bringing people in to hear what they think about the future of Jefferson County, but limit it to a specific topic and do a deep dive.
And there's,
so, for example,
maybe limit the end time too. Like if by 11 o'clock we'll have a second day. I mean, but who really wants to be there until 3 a.m.?
Yeah, it's not efficient or conducive for a professional, efficient meeting. And then the other point you brought up was the JCDA, which
Jefferson County Development Authority.
Right. So we that was another thing that kind of happened last week.
Right. We there's a new state law that took effect on July 11th, which changed the code that governs development authorities across the state. And we were reappointing people to the board, and we thought, okay, well, let's remove everybody from the board at once and then reappoint people under the new law. The meeting was before the 11th, and we figured this was just a straightforward, simple way to do it.
How many members are there on the JCDA?
I think 15, and the new law says you only need 7.
So,
Are you reappointing any of the same people?
Yeah, probably. I mean, we'll see. There's going to be deliberation, but
He mentioned. I drove through Jefferson County yesterday, I guess. And every time I go through there, I'm just amazed at the amount of new developments. He mentioned something about drinking water. How are you guys doing with all that new infrastructure that is needed to service these thousands of houses? I mean, it's unbelievable, some of the size of these developments going up. I mean,
that's why
do you have
JCDA.
water capacity?
That's why you have a JCDA. All the development that's going in is residential. And that's a bad balance for our infrastructure, because when you get residential in, we love this. We love our low taxes, but residences, folks like us, we don't pay in at the same rate as big commercial does.
and you cause more services.
And we need more services, right? So the idea behind the JCDA is let's recruit new businesses into the county so we can help pay for infrastructure like utilities.
So, in regards to the removal of the JCDA, was this a procedural move on your part because the law now allows it, or was there dissatisfaction with some of the members of the JCDA, and this was your way of saying, let's shake out what we don't want and bring on what we do?
It was procedural. There are some questions about is the JCDA heading in the right direction? Are we bringing in enough businesses? I don't think the rate of businesses that we're bringing in is high enough. But that's not why we made that decision. At this Thursday's meeting, we're going to put out a couple of resolutions, and we'll see if they get voted on. But I think there's support for it on the commission that sets a vision for the Development Authority and says we want to bring in big businesses and we want to bring in agritourism, and the number one thing we want to do is bring in a sports complex and a convention center.
Did you remove the director as well?
No, not the staff.
Who is the director?
Krista Hoffman. And the staff is doing a terrific job. They are spending a lot of time preparing for meetings of the board, which I know is a burden. Some of our other boards, we have board members who are doing a terrific job with a light meeting schedule. They're doing a terrific job contributing and helping the staff do their jobs. And we think with the new board that's a little bit smaller, maybe less subcommittees, less notes and minutes to prepare and agendas to prepare, that might be a little bit easier on our small staff at the JCDA. It's only 3 staff members.
Prior to this law change, what would have been the appropriate method for removing members of the JCDA by the county commission?
It's a strange board. It's the way that it's governed by state law is that a county commission can remove board members for any reason at any time. That's different from other boards, which are subject to 667, which had to be used on a couple of county commissioners, actually.
Yeah.
I recall.
Yeah,
Do you
a year and a half ago.
Do you have a time frame for when you plan to have a new board in so that you have oversight over the Development Authority? Because, I mean, like you said, I mean, you're getting tons of residential development. So probably one of the top things you guys are looking for are businesses coming in, business growth in the county. Do you have a time frame for that?
For reappointment, we were planning on doing it on the 17th, and then somebody raised the point, well, because of the delay in one of our meetings recently, there might not be enough time for people to get their resume and applications together. So let's do it at the next meeting. So we'll have it August 7th.
Yeah. And one of the things I think, just looking at this in a large way, taking a step back and looking at what JCDA's mission is, the taxpayers spend about $400,000 a year for the operation of JCDA. The Jefferson County Commission pays for that. And so it's important that when we have properties that are zoned for either high density residential or commercial, that we are following through with bringing businesses in. If it's not businesses, it's going to be high density residential. And I think we are top heavy right now with residential in our county in a way. So I think it's very important to have a commercial sector growth, a diverse commercial sector growth.
Have they thought about putting in a new industrial park like Burr? Just the county setting aside something and saying, okay, this is going to be a development, and let's try to get a bunch of businesses. It's almost an incubation period. Let's try to get some smaller companies in, smaller manufacturing and stuff that can grow and build in the county. Has there been any talk of that?
There's definitely been talk. I don't know exactly what the strategy is. We're finishing off selling off lots at Burr Industrial Park now.
Right. So I was just wondering because that has been a huge success through the years, and many companies have come into there and then grown and developed and gotten bigger. Is there, you have other sectors of the county, other places you could put something else like that in and grow it from there?
Well, I'm a big believer in tax increment financing and pilot projects. And we use tax increment financing to bring in the hotel that's going in Harper's Ferry. That's going to be a major boon for the local economy there and for the tourism industry.
What is the status of the Hilltop Hotel?
All government action has been completed. So now it's just up to the private sector to move forward. And I understand that they are. But I actually live on the street, so I keep tabs on it just by walking through the neighborhood. I haven't seen construction yet, but I'm hearing around the neighborhood that it's coming.
Okay.
That was really fast movement by the government, too. It's only been, what, 20 years or so?
There was a big local zone.
Oh, no, I know. I'm just saying, but that was
Yeah.
a fight back and forth.
yeah, it
I
went on
followed
for a
that
while.
for years.
Yeah.
And with what Berkeley County does, as an example, Berkeley County Development Authority, they are at this point, I believe, more sustainable in the sense that they are able to operate and develop Tabler Station Road as a mechanism to pay for themselves and to
Right.
grow the county. And so that would be a vision that I would have, is that long term we're able to use JCDA as a way to pay for itself, to take some of the burden off of taxpayers, but also develop a commercial tax base. If there are areas that are zoned and entitled for higher density, you're either going to have homes or you're going to have commercial. And the best defense against businesses we don't want, forcing their way in, is being strategic and bringing in good businesses in Jefferson County. So I truly believe that.
Oh, we can all use more vape shops, that's for sure.
When you say bringing in businesses or keeping out ones that you don't want, I have to go back to Rockwool coming in, and there was so much. I still see signs in yards. I'm thinking at some point you take that down, right? Rockwool's been here and a good neighbor and so forth, but there was so much anti-Rockwool, that sort of thing. Have you felt any pushback from that? I mean, has the Development Authority felt any pushback when they're trying to get businesses in? Are businesses looking and going, well, the last time, there was this pushback, has that made things more difficult?
Yeah, I'm sure that it has.
Yeah.
And I think we're still feeling the reverberations of that earthquake from 5 years ago today, especially on the JCDA. I'm not speaking for the members or the staffer, but my sense is they could benefit from the county commission saying, yes, we want big commercial. And I would say that Rockwool is industrial, not commercial.
Okay.
So when we're talking about commercial, we're talking about diversifying our commercial tax base, bringing in different businesses where people can shop, eat, have a sports complex, agritourism, wineries, breweries,
Entertainment,
that kind of
things like
Yeah,
that.
There's a lot of
exactly.
there's a lot of pieces to this pie. We want a diverse commercial tax base, and personally, I don't want an overdevelopment of any single entity or business sector in our county, because that's the mistake I think a lot of counties in our state have made, is too many eggs in one basket. So light industrial is a good thing. I know that's probably a crazy thing to say, but I'll be honest. That's, you need a little bit of industrial in an area. You also need other business sectors to grow a healthy economy. Otherwise, we're only going to be a bedroom community, and taxes will be impacted.
And let me just jump in super quick. I don't know what light industrial is. She's the planning expert. I'm not. I'm just going to say I'm not asking the JCDA to recruit another Rockwool. So let me just put that out there, make it very clear.
Have you thought about trying to get the JCDA to recruit somebody to put something together in part of the county like One Loudoun, where it's a great mix, because you were saying places for people to shop, places for people to eat.
We need a Harris Teeter and a Target.
Well, no, you definitely do, but what I'm saying is, y'all have been to One Loudoun, of course.
Oh, yeah.
You go through there, and there are tons of shops, apartments above it. You've got townhomes, but you have a lot of commercial mixed in with residential. And as people are moving out from Northern Virginia, which is where your movement is coming, I would think that would be something that would be really attractive to people as far as moving to Jefferson County and building your tax base and keeping your tax base diversified by having more commercial mixed with the residential.
Yeah, I'm not going to rule it out. I think JCDA, the Development Authority, should be coming up with ideas like this and telling us what's best for the future of economic development in Jefferson County. But for me, my vision's a little bit different. I grew up in Northern Virginia. I saw Northern Virginia sprawl, and I thought that our quality of life went in the tank over 30 years. And I moved from there because I didn't like it. So,
I'm from Arlington. I grew up just outside of Crystal City. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Right.
I mean, we don't want to live on Rockville Pike. We don't want to have to take an hour and a half to go a mile.
Right.
I agree with you there. I'm just talking about the mix.
Yeah, my vision is Jefferson County should be the year-round playground for D.C. and Baltimore families. Coming out for a day trip or for a few days or for a weekend trip, come enjoy our beautiful vistas, engage in some tourism, stop at a winery, stop at a brewery, stay in one of our hotels. Maybe stay because your kid's at a sports tournament. You stay for a couple days for the tournament. And I think that should be our future. That should be what we are recruiting to the county.
There are some areas, like there's a spot in Myrtle Beach. My son played lacrosse. And in North Myrtle, there's a place that has like 10, 15 fields. They run soccer tournaments, 7-on-7 football and lacrosse year-round. And what that has done to the tourism and what that has done for the hotel-motel tax for that area, I mean, that complex has paid for itself so many times over with, people coming and eating. It's amazing what that's done for North
Pasha,
Myrtle.
Before we run out of time, you have a critic on our Facebook page. I want to give you a chance to address this.
Okay.
Elizabeth Ricketts. The JCDA had recently formed an investigative committee to look into the overreach by the county. A week later, the entire board was removed.
Yes, Councilmember Ricketts was a board member until recently. They formed another subcommittee to look at the history of the bylaws. And I think forming subcommittees about history of bylaws and who has authority to do what is not really the best way for our county to spend $400,000 a year. We really want that $400,000 a year to be spent on bringing in new businesses. And that's the mission. And when we were discussing that, I'm the commission's liaison to the JCDA. And when we were discussing it, I brought that up. I said, look, I don't really see how this serves our mission. Aren't we supposed to be bringing in businesses? Do we have any big businesses that we can say, hey, we accomplished this year or last year, or the year before that? And once we get a few more under our belt, maybe you can think about subcommittees and secondary tasks and tertiary tasks. But I just don't see that as really mission critical. And, $400,000 a year, that's an ambulance every year. Right. This is expensive, and this is important.
And I'd like to turn a page and moving forward with a new board that is working in a collaborative and professional manner with both our staff and our commission so we can move the county forward. That's my number one priority.
That sounds like you were critical of the previous board? Because earlier when we asked, there was just we're going to remove everybody, give everybody a chance to apply. There was no mention of dissatisfaction with that board.
I think focusing on the mission, and I think going back to the mission of JCDA, I'm looking for members who have professionalism, collaboration, and expertise in a field that will serve a purpose on JCDA.
Do you think the previous board was holding back the staff from being able to fulfill the mission?
I think a subcommittee on bylaws is a waste of time. Today we've been talking about public comments and bylaws. Is this what gets people? Is this what affects people's everyday? I don't think so. And I think some folks are getting distracted by side issues that are not the most important thing. What we ought to be doing is creating a community where people want to live, work, and play, bringing in new jobs, bringing in new businesses, keeping taxes low, and moving the county forward. That's what we're doing with our building purchase.
But keep in mind, what's important to you might not be the same priority of what's important to somebody else.
Right.
That's why we have elections.
And I think it's important
when
folks are applying for JCDA that their mission in serving is to help with business development, a diverse commercial development.
On that note, we are out of time. Cara and Pasha, thank you both for yours.
Thank you.
We appreciate you stopping in, and to those in our comment community as well for taking part in the program.